Motivation. Let's get it. So, I'll be honest with you, I'm not really sure what this video is going to be about per se, or I know what it's going to be about, but I don't know how it's going to go about. This is just something natural, I guess you could say.
I was just chilling out moments ago and just watching some old Casey Neistat videos and stuff that I still have yet to watch. And while the guy always spits some knowledge, which, we all could use some knowledge, I figured that I'd have like a raw reaction to the stuff that I'm watching, because obviously I'm trying to improve in certain areas in my life as well. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, anyway.
Are from people and it just says bored, or it's like a selfie of them and they're like bored, nothing to do. How are there this many people that have all this time and no way to occupy it? You could build a city with all the free time that people spend sitting around being bored, sending me snaps of themselves sitting around being bored. That is a fluorescent light that hangs above my office door that says work harder. It also says the same thing tattooed on my wrist, just in case I forget. So today's vlog is about time management and productivity. I really want to get into it. Seneca said, it's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Thank you, Ryan, for turning me on to that quote. And that pretty much sums it up. Right now it's go time for me. I want to maximize every waking second. I'm never going to get any younger, but right now I'm completely healthy, I'm full of energy, and who knows how long this will last. I doubt it's going to be like that when I'm 50 or 60 years old, so I want to do it now.
Now I'm gonna pause there because first and foremost, that's the exact part of the video that I used in my day one video. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not sure what kind of message I was trying to portray back in that video, but that's besides the point. I just wanted to share that I used that exact message. But to also go along to what he's been saying, I couldn't agree with that anymore, because especially as of lately, for like the past good amount of months, I've been kind of having like those same exact thoughts with myself. Like, I'm here, I'm alive, I have so much potential. I'm not trying to sound cocky, by the way, but this is just going on in my head, and what I know of myself and my own worth and so on and so forth. But I'm here, I'm alive, I have so much talent and potential and this and that. Why aren't you utilizing your skills? Why aren't you going full out? You know what I mean? So yeah, I couldn't agree with that anymore, honestly. If you have the opportunity to, if you have the chance, if you have the energy, if you have the skills, why not utilize that while you can? Basically, go all in while you can, because you can contribute something to this world.
With that, I wanted to share a little bit of my thinking behind that, like a little bit of the logic and then the mechanics behind maximizing, or my consideration for really maximizing every day. And I know that this is crazy person talk, but the truth is, the only time I really get bummed out or depressed is when I'm not being productive, is when I'm not accomplishing or doing or contributing in any way. Nothing makes me less happy than relaxation and sitting around with nothing to do.
I want to add something to that, honestly. Now, this is something that I've made up. I like to call this thing the balance spectrum. And basically what the balance spectrum is, now this is something I've made up, but basically you have to do things by a balance. You have to even things out. So for example, let's just say eating. There's the choice of eating healthy and eating good foods and proper foods. And then there's the choice of eating bad foods, the McDonald's, the Burger Kings, the Wendy's, the whatevers, the bad stuff. And honestly, there's really nothing wrong with doing either or, but again, you gotta have the fair balance. You can't overeat one and you can't overeat the other. Well, maybe you sort of can with the good stuff, but anyway, my point is that you gotta have a fair balance in everything in life. It can't be one side or the other. It has to be a fair balance.
The dominoes are broken into 6 different color categories. Here are your 24 hours. This is kind of how my day looks. So starting at 7 a.m., I like to get in 1, 2, 3 hours of exercise. Immediately heading into work at 10 a.m. Then I get home at 7 p.m. and that's when I do family time. That usually goes till about 9 or 10 p.m. So then starting at 10 p.m. when Candace goes to bed, that's usually when I edit this vlog.
I love how he lays out like his day during like the day. That's something I need to work on. I admittedly, I've been trying to work on that, but I just haven't figured out a format as of yet. But I do like his format. His format is very well laid out, honestly. Especially with like I don't know whether I should say this or not as of yet, but I have ideas which involve making money, and I have quite a few of them, which I'm going to keep secret right now. But let's just say that I'm just now starting to get my shit together. Yeah, so. And I'm very happy about that because there's been a lot of days where I've just been all over the place. There's been days where I've had a lot of struggles. There's been days where like I haven't even been myself. There's been days where I've been lazy, not having the right mindset, or struggling with certain demons here and there kind of thing. Not with like depression or stuff like that, but just more like bad habits. But we're doing better now. And the fact that we're talking about this, the fact that I'm finally kind of taking more action towards trying to be more successful alone is really good, honestly. So give yourself a pat on the back. All right, so I guess that part kind of sucked because I'm not gonna lie, I kind of watched some of this already, but I have other videos that I saved.
We're reacting to Losers and Closers by Casey Neistat. Here we go.
It is currently 9 p.m., 9 o'clock at night. Tomorrow morning, I also have to get up at 5:30 in the morning. But I didn't shoot a vlog today, I didn't shoot a video, which is fine, taking days off is fine. But I shot this morning, which meant I started something.
Didn't finish.
So if I didn't do a vlog today, it would have meant starting something and not finishing something.
Right.
And in my book, that's not okay.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Someone who starts something and doesn't finish something, that is a loser. Someone who starts something and always finishes it, that is a closer. One of my favorite movies is called Glengarry Glen Ross. Here's a quick scene.
A, B, C. A always B, B, C closing. Always be closing. Always be closing.
Always be closing.
Yeah, I tattooed that on my arm. Last week I talked about that Voltaire quote, perfection is the enemy of good. And what that means is you can never let your desire for perfection prevent you from finishing something that's good. Because to finish something, even in...
Let me repeat that, what?
Perfection is the enemy of good. And what that means is you can never let your desire for perfection prevent you from finishing something that's good. Because to finish something, even imperfectly, is to learn from it, and then you can move on and get closer to perfection. These fundamentals dovetail nicely with my passion for YouTube. Prior to really embracing YouTube, I always considered like my filmmaking, the content I made, to be precious, and perfection was imperative. And how that actually manifested, what that actually meant, was I just didn't make a lot of stuff, because I always had that excuse to fall back on. And in embracing YouTube, and more specifically, giving myself this daily mandate to upload a video, it has forced me to abandon this idea of perfection, this false idea of perfection, and instead forced me to focus on productivity. And that, in aggregate, over time, has made me a much better filmmaker, has made me a much better storyteller, creator, all of that. I need to explain something called the Pareto principle. 80% of the movie, that is the filming, like all the stuff with the camera, me out running around, like the idea, the concept, all that stuff, the first 80% of the movie is only 20% of the work. And the last 20% of the movie, which is for me, the editing, the last 20% of the movie is 80% of the work. All the things that people typically associate with making a movie is really only the small part of the pie. And the big part of the pie, the Pac-Man part, this is finishing. This is closing. And this rule, by the way, this applies to everything in life. This applies to school, whether you're a painter or a musician, trying to write a song, trying to start a company. Entrepreneurship, this applies to. My business, this applies to. When you run a marathon, 26 miles, the first 22 is only 20% of the work. It's those last 4.
You know what? I want to add to that, actually, and kind of use myself as an example. Now, I'm not trying to be perfect, oh yeah, use me as an example. No, this is life. This is relatable stuff, and that's the really cool thing about life, is because that we can all relate together, because a lot of us can go through similarity. But I do want to use myself as an example because, like I said, obviously I'm trying to get involved with other ways of making money, admittedly. And there's been a crap ton of times where I've come up with ideas or get inspired by other ideas. But my biggest thing, and I think I've struggled with this a lot in my life, I fail to take action sometimes. And also procrastination is a pretty big one too. Obviously, procrastination can be one of your worst enemies. And procrastination and laziness have pretty much one thing in common, and that's just delaying stuff, putting things off, not accomplishing anything. That kind of goes back to Casey's message about not closing. Well, that was me. If I'm really connecting the dots right now, that was me. I was a big non-closer, and because of that, let's just say, a month and a half ago I got inspired by this idea, but I never took action on it. But then a month and a half later, I try to pick up the pieces from where I left off, but it's not the same anymore because it's been a month and a half later, and you kind of lost the thought of where you were at a month and a half ago, kind of thing. And then you're kind of back to square one again of, okay, how am I gonna, accomplish this thing I'm trying to accomplish? Yeah, this is good stuff right now. I hope this can help somebody. I really do, but anyway.
You close or you hit the bricks. You can't close. You are. Hit the bricks, pal, and beat it, because you are going out.
Yeah, I definitely hit the bricks a lot. I can definitely tell you that. It's crazy. So yeah, losers and closers. Yeah, now, honestly, I don't know how long this video is at this point. You'll know by the time you're watching and by the time I'm editing, which I'm sure I'll insert a clip of me editing and he'll tell you.
Well, Brody, let's just say that you put adults to sleep a lot faster than babies. Come on, wrap it up. These people gotta go, man. Sheesh, freaking slowpoke.
Yeah, what he said. But anyway, no, this is good stuff. Like I said, I was just chilling out before, just watching the kind of stuff I was watching off the camera. A light bulb just kind of hit in my head and it said, why don't you just kind of record this kind of thing going on? Yeah, here we are.